I'm Satyapriya, Assistant Professor, Department of EEE. I'm going to handle Basic Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So today we are going to see about AC circuits. So AC is an alternating current. Okay. So a small introduction about AC. So AC is going to be a varying quantity. When you compare with DC is a quantity which is going to have a constant magnitude irrespective of the time. But when you take an AC quantity, it is going to change with magnitude and angle with respect to time. So because of this varying thing, we are going to represent this AC quantity in three ways: an effective value, as an average value, and by its peak value. Okay, three ways of representation: effective value, average value, and peak value. So first we are going to represent this as alternating quantity, voltage and current in a particular form of equation. Okay, so first we are going to see about sinusoidal voltage. So sinusoidal voltage, normally we generate voltage from an alternator. Commercially we generate this voltage from an alternator. So it is going to be, so how we will generate a voltage means we are going to have two magnets, okay, one with north pole and another with the south pole. In between the two magnets we are going to keep a rectangular coil or conducting coil. Okay, so this coil will be in the will be experiencing a magnetic field, okay, magnetic force between from the magnets. So we are going to give a force. Because of the force, the coil between the magnets is going to rotate. Okay, so because of this rotation, this coil is going to cut the magnetic fields at different angles. Okay, so from one complete rotation, from 0 to 360 degree rotation, this coil is going to cut the magnetic field of lines at different angles of rotation, different angles during the rotation. So because of this, there is a difference of current flowing in the coil. That current we call as a sinusoidal current. Okay, so this is how we are going to generate a sinusoidal voltage and sinusoidal current. So this we have studied in our lower classes is a simple loop generator. Okay, that is what the basic setup for generating a sinusoidal voltage and corresponding current. Okay, so now how we are going to express that sinusoidal voltages with the equation V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Okay, small v is equal to capital V in the suffix m, Vm sin of omega t. So here small v is an instantaneous value of an alternating voltage. Why we call that as an instantaneous values? At every instant of time, this value of voltage is going to change. At every instant of time, this value of voltage is going to change. So we call that voltage as an instantaneous value. Okay, so at every instant of time this value is going to change. So we call these quantities as an instantaneous quantity. Okay, so instant V voltage is an instantaneous value of an alternating voltage. So next, capital V in the suffix m. So m represents the maximum value. Okay, so V is your voltage. So maximum value of an alternating voltage. So Vm is your maximum value of an alternating voltage. Same as sine angle of omega t. Omega is your angular velocity of the coil. Okay, the angular velocity is nothing but the speed of rotation of the coil. So in between the two magnets we are keeping a conducting coil. So that coil is going to rotate at one particular speed. That the speed of rotation of coil is your angular velocity omega. Okay, so actually the sinusoidal voltage always produces sinusoidal currents. Okay, so sinusoidal voltage will produce always the sinusoidal current. Okay, so V is equal to Vm sin omega t. So the small values of V and I is your sinusoidal values. V is equal to Vm sin omega t. So instead of this omega t, so we can substitute as V is equal to Vm sin theta. So theta is equal to omega t. This is for our simplification. During our mathematical calculation and simplification, we can substitute this omega t is equal to theta. Okay, just for our simplification. Next, again same way we are going to see sinusoidal current. Sinusoidal current can be expressed by the equation I is equal to Im sin omega t. Here the small I is equal to capital I in the suffix m and sin of omega t. The small I is your instantaneous value of an alternating current. So as the name says, instantaneous value, again like voltage, this current is also going to change at every instant of time. So we call that value as an instantaneous value. So I is equal to, small I is equal to instantaneous value of an alternating current. Okay, same way, capital I in the suffix m is your maximum value and I represent maximum value of current. So Im is equal to maximum value of alternating current. Okay, next one, omega is the angular velocity of the coil. Okay, so now we are going to see small basic definitions, whatever we know already. Okay, so waveform, we are going to represent this AC quantity either voltage or current or power only with the waves. Okay, waveform representation with the graph. Okay, so in the x-axis we are going to take time as a constant thing. So wherever you go, you are going to draw a graph for AC quantity. X-axis will be your time. So y-axis may be your voltage, current or power. It may be a voltage or a current, or it may be a power. Okay, so sinusoidal. So in the figure, so just first, what is the definition of waveform? Waveform is the graph in which instantaneous value of any quantity is plotted against time. Okay, so any instantaneous value which is going to be plotted with respect to time, we call that as a waveform. Okay, same way in the x-axis you are going to take time, which is going to be same for all AC quantities. Okay, x-axis time. In the y-axis I have taken the voltage here. Okay, so in the graph one is a sinusoidal waveform, a sine waveform. Okay, this is a sine wave representation of a AC quantity of voltage. Okay, so second will be your rectangular waveform. So this is your rectangular waveform. This is also an AC waveform for a varying voltage, instantaneous voltage. Same way, third one is your sawtooth waveform. This is also a varying quantity for your instantaneous voltage. Okay, so this is a waveform representation. The next one is an alternating waveform. What is alternating waveform? From the name itself we can identify again. Alternating is going to change. Okay, it reverses its direction at regular recursing interval. Okay, that is, it is going to change its direction at particular intervals. Okay, positive to negative, negative to positive, it is going to change its direction. That is called as alternating waveform. Next one, cycle. So what is cycle? Cycle is a set of positive and negative portion of a waveform. So when I say one complete cycle, it is going to have one positive half cycle and one negative half cycle. But with one positive and one negative half cycle only is going to be a one complete cycle. Okay, so a set of positive portion and negative portion is going to form a cycle. That is the one complete cycle, one complete waveform, one waveform. If I say one waveform, one set of waveform, then it should have one positive quantity and one negative quantity. That is one portion of positive portion and one negative portion. Only then it will be forming a one complete cycle. Okay, next is your time period. So time period is time required for an alternating quantity to complete one cycle is called as time period. Okay, time required for an alternating quantity to complete its one cycle. That is, this one positive portion and negative portion. The time taken to complete one positive portion and one negative portion together is called as time period. Okay, so we represent this time period with capital T. Okay, time period will be represented by capital T. Next one is frequency. Frequency is what? Number of cycles per second. So number of times, how many positive and negative portion is repeating within a second. Okay, within 1 second, how many positive and negative portions is repeating again and again is called as frequency. So frequency will be denoted by the letter small f. Okay, small f is your frequency. It is measured in hertz. Okay, it is measured in hertz. Same way, frequency formula, f is equal to 1 divided by t. 1 divided by t. T is your time period. Okay, so this is our frequency. Next one, amplitude. So amplitude, the maximum value of an alternating quantity in a cycle is called as amplitude. It is also known as peak value. Okay, that is one for maximum value. So the alternating quantity is going to start with 0 and is going to reach one maximum value and again it is going to fall to 0 again. That highest value it is reaching either during positive half cycle or negative half cycle we call as a magnitude. This magnitude can also be said as peak value. Next, we are going to see about average value. So average value, so in an instantaneous quantity, okay, which is going to start with 0 and reach its maximum value, and again it is going to complete its positive half cycle, and it is going to continue the negative half cycle. So in this, how we will calculate the average value? Okay, so naturally average value is given by the formula area under one complete cycle divided by the time period. So see the graph here, I have given an AC cycle. So in this I have starting with 0, reaching its maximum value, again it is ending in completing its half cycle at 180 degree. That is 0 to 180 is forming the positive half cycle. In that I have taken the time T1, the current is I1, T2, I2, T3, I3. So these are the instantaneous values of the current. Okay, so for this, area under one complete cycle is your current waveform. Okay, so area under one complete cycle is a current waveform. If it is an voltage, then you have to write area under one complete cycle is a voltage waveform. If it is voltage and current, then you have to write the area under one complete cycle is your power waveform. Okay, so according to the waveform whatever we use, so area under one complete cycle will change accordingly. If we have only one quantity, if it is a current quantity, then the waveform is a current quantity, then we have to write area under the complete cycle as a current equation. If it is a voltage quantity, then the area under one complete cycle is a voltage equation. If it is a combination of voltage and current, then the area under the cycle will form the power quantity. Okay, so area under one complete cycle divided by the time period. So time period is what? This time. Okay, if you are calculating from 0 to 180 degree, then it is only for positive half cycle. If it is for 180 to 360, then it is for negative half cycle. So 180 will be representing as pi. Okay, so it is pi by 2 and pi. So one complete cycle. Okay, 0 to pi will form one complete cycle. It is, if it is 180 degree, then it is pi by 2. Okay, so time period will be changing accordingly. Next we are going to derive an average value for this current. That is, so again I have drawn 0 to 2 pi one complete cycle. 0 to pi is going to form one positive half cycle, and pi to 2 pi is going to form negative half cycle. So in this, let I, small I is the instantaneous value of the current. So small I is the instantaneous value of the current. Same way, maximum value IM. IM is the maximum value of the current. Same way, now we know the formula for average value. So average value is given by area under the curve divided by the base length. Okay, divided by base or by time period. So area under the curve is what? We are dealing with current waveform. So I, current, divided by time period. So see here, I have taken here I average is equal to integral of 0 to pi I d theta divided by pi. That is, I have taken the interval from 0 to pi. Why? Because I have considered a symmetric waveform. So symmetric waveform is nothing but positive half cycle and negative half cycle will be same. That is, positive half cycle 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi will be same. They will be having same maximum value between positive half cycle and negative half cycle. The time to complete 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi will be same. So in that condition we call such a waveform as a symmetric waveform. Okay, so if you take the value for, if you calculate the average value for 0 to pi, the same will be the value for pi to 2 pi also. So now I am going to integrate only from 0 to pi I d theta divided by pi. So integration of 0 to pi only for positive half cycle. Area under the curve is your current value divided by your time period is pi. Okay, only for one half cycle. So 0 to pi into d theta. Okay, so now I am going to integrate this 0 to pi. So instead of I am going to calculate as Im sin theta into d theta divided by pi. Okay, Im sin theta d theta divided by pi here. So here Im by pi will become constant. So I am taking it out. So Im by pi integral of 0 to pi sin theta into d theta. Okay, Im by pi integral of 0 to pi sin theta into d theta. So Im by pi again it is constant. Then sin theta, when you integrate you will be getting as minus cos theta integral of 0 to pi. Okay, so this 0 to pi is your limits. So now this pi Im by pi minus cos theta, I have applied the limits, upper limit minus lower limit. So my equation will become I average is equal to Im divided by pi into minus cos pi minus minus of cos 0. Okay, so this Im by pi here, when you apply the values of cos pi and cos 0, you will be getting as minus 1. So Im by pi is equal pi into 1 plus 1, you will be getting as I average is equal to 2Im divided by pi here. So this 2 divided by pi, when you divide, you will be getting the value of I average is equal to 0.637 Im. Okay, so average current when you calculate for symmetric A for one half cycle, then in the value of average current will be I average is equal to 0.637 Im. Okay, so same way, instead of this, when you calculate for voltage, okay, the same condition, same sine wave, when you calculate, when you are drawing the same symmetric sine wave for voltage, will be appearing at the average voltage as V average is equal to 2 Vm divided by pi. Same way, V average will become 0.637 Vm. Okay, so this is your average value for your symmetric waveform of voltage and current. Next, we are going to see RMS value. RMS value is nothing but your root mean square value. Okay, so root mean square value, a steady current when flowing through a given resistor for a given time produces same amount of heat as produced by an alternating current when flowing through the same resistance for the same time. That is, heat emitted in the resistor when you apply a DC quantity and also by an AC quantity is an RMS value. That is, heat emitted in the resistor when you apply DC supply and also during an AC supply is your RMS value. So RMS value, from the name itself you can understand, it is a root mean square value. It is okay, root mean square value. So we have a particular formula for this RMS value. RMS is equal to root of area under squared curve divided by base value. Okay, RMS is given by root of area under squared curve divided by base value. Okay, so this we are going to derive again the equation for RMS value. So RMS value is equal to area of root of area of squared curve divided by base. So for same equation, so same we are going to calculate only for the current waveform we have drawn in the first graph, right? So same current waveform, so the same thing root of integral 0 to pi, it is a symmetric waveform, so I am taking the limit from 0 to pi. Same way, it is a current waveform, so I squared, area of squared curve, right? So I square into d theta divided by base value. I am going to take only for one half cycle, so time period is pi here. So integral 0 to pi I square theta divided by pi. So instead now I am going to substitute the equation for I. So root of integral 0 to pi I is equal to Im sin theta the whole square divided by pi into d theta. So root of integral 0 to pi Im square divided by pi is a constant value, so I am going to take it out. Okay, so Im square divided by pi integral 0 to pi sin square theta into d theta. So when you substitute the formula for sin square theta, it is 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. Okay, so sin square theta formula is 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. So instead of the sin square theta, I am going to substitute as 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2 here. So root of Im square divided by pi integral 0 to pi 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2 into d theta. So again this 2 will become constant, so I am taking it out. Okay, so root of Im square divided by 2 pi integral of 0 to pi 1 minus cos 2 theta into d theta. So IRMS is equal to root of Im square divided by 2 pi into, okay, so when you integrate this one, you will be getting theta. Same way, when you integrate this 2 theta, you will be getting us sin 2 theta divided by 2 here. Okay, so when you integrate cos 2 theta, you will be getting us sin 2 theta divided by 2. Again, you are applying the limit 0 to pi, so you will get us root of Im square divided by 2 pi. When you apply this limit, upper limit minus lower limit, you will get us Im square divided by 2 pi into pi. Okay, so again this pi and pi will get cancelled, so we will be getting us root of Im square divided by 2. Okay, so now IRMS is equal to root of Im square divided by root of 2. That is, I am splitting the limits for numerator separately and denominator separately. So when I split the root like this square and the root will get cancelled. So IRMS will be equal to Im divided by root 2. So when I divide this value 1 divided by root 2, I will be getting as 0.707 Im. Same way, this is instead of current. If you draw the voltage waveform, then you will be getting Vrms. So Vrms will be equal to Vm divided by root 2, or 1 by root 2 will be equal to 0.707. So Vrms will be equal to 0.707 Vm. So this is your value for Irms and Vrms. Okay, so because of this we have a factor, that is the one constant value we will be maintaining, that form factor. Okay, so form factor is given by the formula RMS value divided by average value. So RMS value, we know the formula as Im divided by root 2. Same way for average value, we know the formula as 2Im divided by pi. So when you substitute the formula for form factor as RMS value divided by average value, you will be getting the value as 1.11. So form factor is a constant value and the value of form factor is 1.11. Same way, peak factor, the formula for peak factor is maximum value divided by RMS value. So this maximum value is equal to Im and RMS value is Im divided by root 2. So when you substitute here, you will be getting root 2, which is equal to 1.414. So peak factor is 1.414. So next one, phasor. Okay, so next thing we are going to see is phasor. So phasor is nothing but diagrammatic representation of alternating quantity in the circuit with same frequency. Okay, so the same frequency quantity can be represented in a diagrammatic way, then we call that a diagram as a phasor. Okay, so this is like a geometric representation of an alternating quantity in a circuit. Okay, so we always maintain our frequency as a constant thing. Okay, we naturally maintain, that is in our country we maintain one per frequency value as 50 Hz. So all over the country, in India we have one constant frequency value as 50 Hz. So normally AC circuit will obey 50 Hz of frequency. Okay, so now this diagrammatic representation, we have two things, that is this diagrammatic representation is the comparison of two AC quantity. Okay, so this two AC quantity, one quantity we are going to keep as a reference or constant one, and other quantity will be a varying one. Okay, so the representation of the variation between the two AC quantity can be represented as a phasor quantity. Okay, so in that we are going to see in phase. First condition is in phase. So here I am assuming two currents I1 and I2, two alternating quantities, two currents of same frequency I am assuming here. So I1 is equal to Im1 sin theta and again I2 as Im2 sin theta. So this is your basic current equation. So I1 is equal to Im1 sin theta and I2 is equal to Im2 sin theta. So this is two currents I am assuming. So now I say these two currents are in phase with each other. That is, this is the graphically represented. This is the graphical form of representation of two currents. That is, see here I have drawn the graph. X-axis is time, again y-axis is time, y-axis is current. Okay, x-axis is time and y-axis is current here. So two currents I1 and I2 are starting at staying. So now here two currents I1 and I2 are starting at same time as 0 and completing its positive half cycle at pi and going to negative half cycle and completing the negative half cycle at 2 pi. So 0 to 2 pi will form one complete cycle. So here I1 and I2 are starting at same time 0 and completing its positive half cycle at pi and completing its negative half cycle at 2 pi. And at the same time it is reaching the maximum value also, Im, maximum value, that is maximum value for Im and maximum value of I2 are attaining at the same time, but the value of maximum of I1 and I2 are differing. Okay, that is maximum value is attained at the same time, but the value of maximum is differing for the two current waveforms I1 and I2. So at this condition I say two currents I1 and I2 are in phase with each other. Okay, in phase with each other, that is there is no difference between, there is no phase difference between the currents I1 and I2 in the circuit. So I call these two currents are in phase with each other. So this is the diagrammatic representation, that is graphical representation. This is the vector representation. Okay, so with one current as reference we have to draw the other currents. Here two currents I1 and I2 have no phase difference between each other. Two currents are going cordially with each other at the same instant of time. Both are going together. So I am drawing two currents I1 and I2 in the same line. Okay, so this condition we call as in phase. Okay, as there is no difference between currents I1 and I2, we call this condition as in phase with each other. So next condition, that is out of phase. Out of phase. So in this out of phase condition, that is out of phase means with respect to one current, one alternating quantity, the other quantity will be varying one. Okay, it may be leading one or lagging one. It will not go with the same instant of time with the reference quantity. In that condition, we call that as an out of phase. So in the out of phase, we have two conditions, lagging condition, other one is a leading condition. So what is lagging? So lagging means lagging alternating quantity is one which reaches its maximum value and zero value later than that of other alternating quantity. That is, we are going to have one reference quantity. Okay, so comparing with our reference quantity, the other quantity will be in delay in starting terminal, in the starting point and reaching the maximum value, and also in completing the cycle. Okay, there will be a delay between, a lagging delay. Okay, lagging delay between the one quantity and the other quantity. So see here, now I have taken, again I am going to compare two current quantities. Now I have taken I1 is equal to Im1 sine of omega t minus phi. Okay, so I am taking the current equation I1 as Im1 sine of omega t minus phi. Again I am taking I2 current equation, I2 is equal to Im2 sine of omega t. So from the equation, our well-known normal current equation is I2 equation, that is I2 is equal to Im2 sine omega t. This is our known normal sinusoidal current equation. So this current equation I2 is going to be my reference current. Okay, so this reference current, this is my I2 current, is my reference current. So I1 current is going to lag I2. Okay, so going to lag the I2 by an angle of phi. Okay, the phase difference we call as phi. When you compare with this current I2, the current I1 is going to lag by an angle of phi. This omega t minus phi is the phase difference between I1 and I2. As this phi current, phi angle degree is lagging, I am representing as minus. Okay, so I1 is equal to Im1 sine of omega t minus phi. Okay, so phi is your phase angle between I2 and I1. Okay, so see here the waveform representation. Okay, our graphical representation. So I2 is our reference current. So I2 is current is starting at 0 and reaching its maximum value and completing its positive half cycle at pi, and again going to negative half cycle and completing the negative half cycle at 2 pi. Okay, so this is the one complete cycle for current I2. So after period of phi, after phase angle phi, the current I1 will start to flow in the circuit. So this the phi angle, the phi is the lagging angle. After the phi angle, the current I1 will start to flow in the circuit. So starting from this one, at the time phi, the phase angle phi, the current start will, after the phase angle phi, the current I1 will start to flow and reach its maximum value and complete its positive half cycle here and continue for the negative half cycle. So this angle difference between I2 and I1 is given by phi. Phi is called our phase angle. Okay, the phase difference or phase angle. Okay, phase difference between I1 and I2 is called as phase angle. This is represented by the measured in electrical degree or radians. It is measured in electrical degree or radians. So now from this graphical form we can say the current I1 lags the current I2. Okay, with respect to current I1, the current with respect to current I2, the current I1 is lagging. Okay, so lagging by an angle of phi, by the phase difference of phi. If the current is lagging by an angle of 30 degree, then phi is equal to 30 degree. The angle phase difference will be 30 degree. If the current is lagging by an angle of 60 degree, then the phase difference will be 60 degree. So this is your graphical representation. Same way, this is your phasor representation. So we are going to take current I2 as a reference current. So I have drawn I2 as a straight line as a reference line. Okay, so by phase angle phi, it is going to lag. So I have drawn in the below of your reference line. So negative angle, it is lagging, so you have to draw this phasor below your reference line. Okay, so I have drawn this below as I1. It's a phi angle, so when you draw this normally, if the angle phi is 30 degree, then you have to draw this I1 at 30 degree. If it is 45 degree, then you have to draw this I1 as at 45 degree. So this phi is your phase angle difference between current I1 and I2. This is the lagging condition. So next we are going to see about the leading condition. So leading condition means what? Leading condition, see here I have taken the current I2. Okay, I2 as Im to sin omega t as my reference current again. Okay, now I1 I have written as I1 is equal to Im1 sin of omega t plus phi. So plus phi indicates, okay, phi is your phase angle, I said the phase difference between I1 and I2, plus sign indicates it is leading. When you compare with the current I2, the current I1 is leading. Okay, so leading. So now how we are going to draw this graphical form is, see here the current I2 is our reference current, so starting with 0, okay, the current I2 starting to flow, starting with 0, completing its positive half cycle at pi and continuing with the negative half cycle and completing at 2 pi. So this is our reference current. So the current I1 is leading by an angle of phi, so it should be drawn ahead before I2. Okay, so this is 0, so the current is starting, I1 is starting to flow from this point. Okay, the phase difference between I2 and I1 is phi. Okay, as before the phi angle, the current I1 is starting to flow in the circuit. So starting from here, the current is starting, I1 is starting to flow and it is going to complete the one complete cycle. Okay, so phase angle, leading phase angle will be represented with the positive sign. Okay, lagging phase angle will be represented with the negative sign. Same way, the phasor representation, so I2 current is our reference current, so it is leading, current I1 is leading with respect to I2, so I am drawing this I1 above the reference line. So I2 is our reference line, I am drawing this current I1 above I2, and this phi is the angle difference between, phase difference between current I1 and I2. Okay, so this will be our measured in electrical degree. So now what we say with respect to current I2, the current I1 is leading by an angle of phi. Okay, so the current is leading by an angle of phi. So leading angle should be represented with the positive sign. Okay, thank you.